What's up, everybody? We're back with another Band-Maid reaction. And today we're going to be continuing on with the documentary. And today's focus is going to be our very, very talented and very skilled bassist, Misa. So I'm very curious on see what I could learn about her because she seems very, I don't know if quiet is the word or secluded, but I'm very curious on seeing what we can learn about her. And very adorable, by the way, with the anime picture. How could you not smile seeing these two like animated like that? But yeah, um, let's see what we get. Please remember to like, comment, and hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. All right, let's go.
じゃあ次は、ベース、ミサにしましょう。ミサちゃんは、1回目で言ってびっくりされるのは、ステージドリンクがウイスキーストレート。
本当にあの人酔っ払うんです。
ねえ、もう本当に2時間とかはまあ長いとやったりしますが、
すると結構後半はもう、フラフラというか、もうベロベロというか。
ベロベロですもんね。出来上がりつつある感じですもんね。
かなって感じ。
まあでも、よりね、なんだろう、グルービーなベースを。
そう。ベースの演奏が良くなるから。
緊張しいだったり、
Yeah, she gets that, sounds like she gets that little liquid courage and creativity opens up when she gets a little tipsy. Or groovier, as they say.
そう。ベースの演奏が良くなるから。
緊張しいだったり、ちょっとするところがあるので、
ピュアだから。
ピュアだから、とてもバンドメイドで一番純粋な心を持ってるの。
見た目はね、クールビューティーな、
クールビューティー、
アジアンビューティーな感じなんだけど、
海外からのね、人気はすごいですもんね。
一番ですね。
ミーサってすごいコールが起きるぐらい。
だって怖い印象を受けるもんね、最初は。
あんまりこう喋らないからね。
そう。怖い人だと思ってましたっていうコメントよく見る。
ね、でも小学生みたいなね、ことで、すごいくだらないことでミサちゃん一番笑うし。
変顔もすごいする。
もう一番そういうの大好きだもんね。だから怖いとは一番真逆にいる。
一番面白い人かもしれない。
そうだっぽね。バンドメイドの一番面白い人だっぽね、きっと。
With an introduction like that, I think we can figure out who's going to be highlighted in today's video. So today, let's talk about Misa.
Yeah.
Misa was born on October 15th in Okayama, a prefecture close to Osaka, and next to Hyogo, where Akane was born. According to her mother, she was an easy child to raise as she used to play by herself. Even though she was a lively child, she always avoided dangerous situations and tried to act like an adult. She loved music and arts in general, but hated studying. And just like Kanami and Akane, music has been a part of Misa's life since her early childhood, as she started to learn piano when she was around 4. In elementary school, she joined a brass band and played alto horn. Right when she entered junior high school, Misa moved to Tokyo due to family circumstances, and her temper changed a lot. She had a hard time fitting in with life in the big city and getting along with her peers from the same grade. She was also afraid to be judged because of her accent, which was different from the other children, and became more and more introverted. In 7th grade,
I haven't heard her talk yet, so I'm kind of curious on what they mean.
And became more and more introverted. In 7th grade, she started to play guitar, but ended up joining a concert band in 9th grade, where she played the trumpet. Even though she did learn a lot of different instruments, she kept learning piano for a few years. In high school, she played as a guitarist vocalist in a Keon club with a Fender Squier model that she bought. One day, an older friend of Misa asked her if she could join his band as a bassist. Until then, she'd never thought about playing bass. She started to play guitar and always wanted to play drums, but bass? It had never crossed her mind. Misa borrowed a bass and started to play, and even though it was difficult, she loved it and bought a Squier P bass immediately so she could give back the bass she borrowed. And one of the main reasons Misa got introduced to music at such an early age was that her mother listened to music all the time. This is how Misa got to hear bands like the Red Hot Chili Peppers and The Who when she was still only in kindergarten.
Wow.
Her mother was also very supportive and helped Misa choose the right school when she hesitated between university and professional college.
You know, that's probably why I started guitar at such a young age myself. I grew up in the 80s, and my aunt used to play a lot of stuff like Motley Crue and Metallica, Slayer, all sorts of very guitar-driven, heavy guitar-driven stuff. So, but yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Right school when she hesitated between university and professional college. Misa started a course on sound engineering in a professional college before changing to a bass course, as she didn't want to work behind a stage, but on stage as a professional bassist. Before talking about Band-Maid, let's take a look at Misa's past experience in the music industry. Except for small bands during her school years, Misa had been a member of a band named Prototype for 5.5 years between 2008 and 2013. Prototype.
Wait a minute. I've heard that name before. I think I might have seen it as like a suggested band to check out on like when I used to have Spotify, but I'm not 100% sure, but I know I've seen it as like a recommended band on one of the music or video platforms.
Between 2008 and 2013. Prototype was a small band composed of 4 members, and the band made at least 2 mini albums and performed several live concerts. We don't have that much information, but it seems that they sold their CDs directly and not via music stores. They used to perform in and around Shimokitazawa, which is where Misa lived, and Shibuya. There is a review of one of their live performances which states that they sound like the Smashing Pumpkins and are appealing to everyone who loves Western music.
Hey, they're from my home state, so I definitely know my Smashing Pumpkins, that's for sure. Them being Chicago natives.
Pumpkins and are appealing to everyone who loves Western music. The person who wrote this review also said that they couldn't stop smiling. It sounds like this band must have played some great music. But that's not all. While she was playing for Prototype, Misa joined another band called Hurtist.
Sorry, I was getting a little distracted by Psyche. Yeah.
Playing for Prototype, Misa joined another band called Hurtist. This band was formed with 6 members who performed live several times before disbanding in October 2012. You can find 3 of their live videos on their YouTube channel. Misa and Akane also met in 2012 as they were going to the same school, the Tokyo Music School. They connected immediately as instrumentalists and worked together on several projects. The same year, they made an appearance as actors in an MV of the singer-actress Becky with the song Yoruka Switch. In 2015, Misa, along with Konami and Akane, were at the 5th anniversary party of the idol band Predia, in Zepp Tokyo as a backing band. You do remember the link between Predia and Band-Maid, right? There was a band called Mochi to Cheese made by Akane, Konami, and 3 members from Predia. All right, we are in May 2013. Prototype announced that they will disband in July, and Band-Maid posted an audition announcement on May 29th. The next month, on June 5th, Misa announced on her old account linked to Prototype that she's going to an audition. Does this mean that Misa had the perfect timing to join Band-Maid? Let's see how she was recruited.
I'd say that's a pretty good sign and good timing. Like, it's like the way like they showed like how like the timelines worked with at least the first 3 or first 4, including her. Like it just seemed like something happened to get them in that direction to lead with them, and it just now I'm really curious to see how like Miku did her thing and like how it all like ties together at the end when they all finally form. Like this is really cool.
Timing to join Band-Maid? Let's see how she was recruited. In another interview, Misa confirmed that Akane tried to recruit her into Band-Maid right when Prototype announced their disbanding. But Akane didn't know about this information, so she was bold enough to invite Misa to join another band. And it paid off. Now, Misa has said that she was in izakaya when Akane called her, and she was pretty drunk, so she had to take at least the night to think about it. Misa listened to the demo and found that the songs were proper rock music and cool. She was actually afraid that this band would be an idol band. As she didn't want to stop playing bass, Misa quickly accepted the invitation to join Band-Maid the day after Akane talked to her. So in the end, Miku recruited Konami, who was found on Nico Nico. And then Konami recruited Akane just after the restaurant she was working at closed, and Akane recruited Misa just after her group disbanded. Wow. If that is not fate, I don't know what is. Now that Misa had joined Band-Maid, it's a new start for our favorite bassist.
That's
a
crazy.
New start, yes, but with one problem. The maid outfit. Misa was never into cosplay, so she wasn't used to wearing this kind of clothing. She felt really uncomfortable during the first live shows and with the first version of her outfit. It was also around this time.
That did not look right on her. She's too fucking tall. Yeah, you could tell that she's not totally for that. You could just like see in the way she stands uncomfortably, and I mean they all look great the way they started off, but I mean you want to be able to be comfortable, especially when you're playing an instrument for 2-3 hours a night, like on a show. Yeah.
With the first version of her outfit. It was also around this time when Misa thought about quitting Band-Maid.
Dude, what?
Time when Misa thought about
Did like Miko do like track or something, or like is she like a weightlifter? What the dude, she could kill you with those legs. Where did all those muscles come from? Jesus Christ.
quitting Band-Maid. It was during the first or second one-man performance and Misa was already working a lot in addition to her work for Band-Maid, so she was in really bad physical and mental condition. She felt that the music she liked was too far from the music she played with the band, and started to think about leaving and forming a band where she could play the kind of music she liked. She talked to the manager, who proposed that she take a good look at the view from the stage at the Masters and Princesses and decide after that. Thankfully, the reactions and responses from the crowd that day moved Misa deeply enough so she chose to stay with Band-Maid. She was sure that this band had great potential and could become way bigger. Time flies by, and we are at that moment where Konami is writing songs for the band. From world domination, but more in Conqueror and Unseen World, Misa actively participated in songwriting on her bass lines and has felt more freedom since then. Konami gives out notes from time to time depending on the song and what she has in mind. While writing music, Misa thinks more about what would serve the quality of the song rather than be sure that it's playable immediately. She had difficulties recording some songs of Unseen World because of that, but she managed to get them recorded in the end by spending more time on the hardest parts. And even if a song is really difficult for her, Misa will always practice enough so that she doesn't have to look at her hands while she's playing live. For example, the first part of No God was written by Konami, and she asked Misa to write the rest of the song. At this time, Misa was learning bass and drum programming, so she wrote those two parts, including her solo. It was a new experience for her.
That was sexy solo. Yep. Yeah.
It was a new experience for her, and she had to send new riffs to Konami every week for Unseen World. And although she obviously sent her demos to Konami, Misa used to send them to another member, Psyche. Misa sent her work to Psyche to confirm that her bass line was easy to sing with, and also because Psyche praises her a lot. And Misa loves to be praised by Psyche when she's working on a new song. As she wrote in an interview, "I just send them to her without saying anything in order to get praised by her. That's my source of energy. That makes me enjoy drinking better."
What? I just sent them to her without saying anything in order to get praise for her. That's my source of energy. That makes me enjoy drinking better. Oh my god, I fucking love these girls.
That makes me enjoy drinking better. What a great group of friends they are. There are two particularities regarding Misa when you see her perform on stage. The first one is that she never wears shoes when she's playing, with some exceptions on very hot days during outside performances, as the stage can get really hot. This is something she has done since the beginning of Band-Maid. You can see her wearing shoes in some MV, but most of the time, she likes to play barefoot. She answered a question from a fan in 2014 on Twitter saying that heels hurt her feet and are really hard to walk in, so she chose not to wear anything at all. Misa even ended up with the nickname the Barefoot Assassin.
Oh man, she looks like she could be an assassin with like the cold look. Sometimes she looks like she could just like, if you watch her on the stage, and next thing you know, before you know it, she's right behind you, ready to just end you. Yep.
Misa even ended up with the nickname the Barefoot Assassin.
I love it.
Why? Well, first of all, she plays barefoot. And during the Gold Rush interview, when the band was asked about the maid outfits, and particularly Misa's, which didn't look like a maid outfit, Miku answered that it's an assassin-made outfit. The second thing you'll notice about Misa is that she always has a bottle of whiskey on her amp while performing live, and she even drinks in the MV of Don't You Tell Me. If you look closely at every performance, you can spot the bottle that she drinks during MCs. During the US tour in 2022,
she's really a Jim Beam fan? Wow. Not exactly the type of whiskey I expected her to be drinking. All right.
You look closely at every performance, you can spot the bottle that she drinks during MCs. During the US tour
and for any of the smartasses that are out there, yes, I know it's bourbon. Bourbon is still a form of whiskey, so just in case anybody wants to be a smartass.
Spot the bottle that she drinks during MCs. During the US tour in 2022, she even had her own opening ceremony where she opened a can of beer in front of her mic to make a loud sound, and the audience really loved that moment. Misa used to open a can of beer or drink whiskey during MCs for a long time, and she even shared a bit of her whiskey with a fan in 2019 during a concert in the New York Mercury Lounge. She is thought to be the one who drinks the most, but if you had a chance to listen to the Radio for Omesu-sama episode aired on August 1st, 2021, you would learn that they all actually drink a lot, except for Konami, who falls asleep before she gets a chance to drink. Despite her love for alcohol, Misa tweeted in May 2022 that she came to realize that it was too much for her and she decided to be more careful in the future. And now it's time to talk about Misa's playstyle. As usual, I'll let proper bassists present their thoughts to you on what they think about Misa. Gentlemen, if you please.
So what makes Misa a great bassist? First of all, she went to musical school, so she learned a lot about music theory. You can see that in her playing. She's constantly moving around the root note, adding or removing note at the end of her phrases, changing the tone by going all over the neck and not just staying at the low end. She masters all the playing style, finger style, slap, pick. She knows when to use them and always use the right one at the right moment. She can switch from one to another in a blink of an eye, like when she does her pick flip to switch from pick to slap. Her right hand work is so smooth and precise. It's mesmerizing. When it comes to her role in the band, she's a lead bassist. She can flawlessly jump from just playing the root note to taking the lead or providing an harmony to the vocals, and all of this in the same bar. There is no boundaries in her playing. That's what makes her so interesting and very inspiring to me. She's my favorite bassist, and I hope to hear her and Band-Maid for a lot more years.
When I think back about all of the bands that I've loved for many years, so many great bass players. But when I think of the bassists who really excited me, or more importantly, the ones whose parts I wanted to learn how to play, I think they all have kind of one thing in common. And that's the use of the bass, not just as a tonal and rhythmic foundation for a song or that kind of glue that holds a band together, but they use the instrument as another source of melody and melodicism and musicality. And I think there are far fewer of those kinds of bassists out there. So imagine my delight as a bassist discovering Band-Maid, where you have Misa, who's just constantly up and down the neck, playing what aren't super complicated parts, but making these really, really musical choices about, a note here versus a note here. She's in many ways a counterpart to Konami in that they're always expanding on a riff or adding new textures or new little motifs. They may play something fairly straight the first time, but after that, forget it. And it's not, again, like the parts are super complicated or technically difficult. They're just really, really smart, or for me, the big thing is that they're really musical.
How would I describe Misa's playing style? That's a tall order. What makes her special to me is her writing and her flawless ability to judge what to play and when to play it, without shying away from taking up space. She doesn't just serve the song, filling out the lower frequencies, locking up with the drums. She's actively creating a large portion of what makes the songs what they are. The groove, drive, momentum, anticipation, tension. It's like all her parts serve a purpose larger than just playing notes that work in the right tempo. She really adds another thick layer to the onion that is Band-Maid. One of my favorite habits of hers is when she's having a bit of a bass solo during the guitar solo, as can be heard in Manners and Reincarnation, for example. It's so backwards to the old tropes about backing down during a solo, but it's always so tastefully made and never distracting, rather the opposite. She also has this ability to tap into what the other instruments are doing and create her own parts from that, seamlessly switching between what instruments to follow. A prime example of that can be heard in the second verse of About Us, especially in the live version. She starts out by establishing the groove with the drums for the first 3 bars, and then a fill during the 4th bar, setting herself up for the next 4 bars, where she gradually starts playing off the vocals. The first 2 bars by matching the vocal phrases, subdivided by 16th notes, and for the second 2 bars, now the transition is complete, and now she just plays a lower harmony to the vocals. After that, she immediately switches to locking up rhythmically to Konami's octave climb for 1 bar. And then, for the last bar, she rounds everything off with a little fill of 16th notes, almost like a drum fill. All that during 10 bars. Her playing and writing is a big reason why I keep coming back to their music over and over again.
Thank you very much for taking the time to share your experience and knowledge and your feelings regarding Misa's playstyle. I wonder what you, the viewer, what do you think of Misa as a bassist? I'm very interested to know what's on your mind. Let's move
That's what I
to
say.
the end of our journey. Misa learned to play a lot of instruments, and even though she knew which ones she wanted to learn, she ended up playing the one instrument she never even thought about. From the moment she picked up a bass, Misa never stopped playing it. She loves bass so much that she even switched courses to become a professional bassist and live from her passion. In the end, Misa ended up with Band-Maid thanks to the boldest move and the perfect timing. And Band-Maid is a band where everyone shines. Everyone has a moment in every song. We're used to seeing guitarists and drummers being highlighted, but bassists? That's not very common. How many bands that you listen to allow their bassists to really shine? I'm talking about bands with 2 guitars or a guitar and a piano. I'm sure you can find some examples, but since its creation, Band-Maid has always found a way to allow Misa to find her spotlight. From thrill to influencer, dice, or even manners. During live performances introducing a song, or to go crazy on a duel with Konami. though Misa's personality is mostly introverted, when she is on stage playing bass, she seems finally free and is having the time of her life. She even learned programming and participated actively in the songwriting process. Since she joined Band-Maid, Misa followed her passion to become a professional bassist and surrounded herself with the best group of friends who have become very close to what we can call a family.
Well, that was another good one, and it really is something else. Like, I mean, well, like I said in the beginning, like she seems like she's very secluded and then he just said she's very introverted until she gets on stage. That happens with a lot of musicians, though. Like I've noticed over the years, because it it opens up a different side of people. Like if you've ever seen Ozzy Osbourne, like in outside of like the music setting, he's very quiet, doesn't really talk much unless he's like with his family or something at home. But like when you see him walk on stage before the music starts, he looks like he's dead to the world. Like, and he was even like that like 30, 40 years ago, though, too. Like, he'd walk on stage, he's just like very, not much going on until that first beat or melody kicks out those speakers. It opens up a completely different person. And I see that, I've noticed that with her. With a couple of the live videos I saw, like, you see her just standing there, kind of just keeping to herself, not really saying much or doing much until that music starts going. And you could see her eyes start lighting up and start moving. And you know, the funny thing is, it's actually more sad. A lot of bassists are very overlooked and they're underrated. At least to a lot of people that don't really understand music. A lot of times, like, a lot of people don't realize how important they are. And like there's some like really really amazing bassists out there, and then yet people don't even think about it. I mean, hell, I can't even tell you how many times I've seen Les Claypool and Primus live. It started becoming a problem actually. I think I saw them probably in the double digits now, and that guy was like one of the most amazing bassists I've ever seen. Like I've never seen anybody do some of the stuff he was able to do, and then it actually made me grow a lot more respect for. Like his playing is actually what made me grow more respect for bassists, and seeing how difficult and how much more. I don't know. It's hard to put into words, but don't overlook them. They're definitely a key part in the making that sound right, and especially with Band-Maid, you can her bass definitely stands out in their music. Like some rock bands these days that you hear like kind of blended in with music, but no, hers it blends too, but it has a little. You could still in the hear in the back like it actually just like pumping out a little harder than most. And I love that, like, honestly, I mean, barefoot performing, I mean, I'm sure it's got to be, like they said, it's got to be a lot more comfortable than wearing heels. I mean, that can't be comfortable. Yeah, each each of these girls are very special in their own way, and I think that's what makes them so great together. Yeah, that was our lovely barefoot assassin, Misa. I definitely look forward to the next one. It's gonna be Miku's 3-part documentary, so we'll definitely be getting to that soon. And as always, I appreciate everybody coming by. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, we'll see y'all next time. Lots of love to you. Rock on.